What up, people? It's your boy Chipz-N-Stix, back with my man Squirtle, and I'm doing an impressions video on this little indie game, Moonlighter, developed by Digital Sun Games, 11-bit Studios, and that's pretty much it. So, quick first impressions video coming up. Stay tuned, keep it locked. Squirtle Squad! So, the quick rundown on Moonlighter. It's a roguelite action RPG game with the main character whose name is Will. He inherited a shop from his grandfather who basically was exploring a dungeon and died. You inherit the shop, you gotta keep it afloat, and Will doesn't want to do that because he wants to explore dungeons just like his grandfather, but it's kind of like an internal conflict that he has. Now, this actually seems to be like a multifaceted kind of game because there's that entrepreneurial kind of spirit in it where you sell items in a shop and you can actually determine the price. Now, this is actually pretty cool because there's a system, basically like a gauge of how cheap an item can be, or if it's like a really good deal, or how expensive it is, and if people actually hate it. So there's this face where, you know, people's eyes will light up, and that lets them know that, well, that lets you know that it's actually a pretty good deal. They're really excited about getting, you know, the item. There's a regular happy face where it's cool, you know, they'll still take it, and then there's a face where they're like, oh my god, I can't believe this expensive. Now, if it's an item that they actually need, because this happens, if it's an item that they need, they'll give you that face and they'll take it anyway. But that's bad for business because they probably won't come back to the shop. Now, you're the only shop in town that has items from, you know, the dungeons that you explore. You have to basically make money to revitalize the shop and restore it to its former glory. The name of the shop is Moonlighter. And here's the funny thing. When you go to the dungeons, here's where the roguelite action RPG thing all ties in together now. When you go into the dungeons, the layout is never the same. This for one is like my first time playing a game like this, and I'm like stoked about it because, you know, I had gotten a map for the first dungeon, which is the Golem dungeon, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in, basically go back to the floor, you know, or the area where I died at, and then I'll just continue from there. Wrong. I stepped right back into that dungeon. The complete layout was different. I was like, what? You lose the map that you first get before you die, you lose it. So you got to get another map because now everything is different. That's one thing that, for me, it keeps me interested in and wants me to keep coming back to, you know, to keep playing the game. Every time you go in, it's different. And then they have a day and night system, which means that the items that you get can either be rare or common, or when you go at night, it's super rare. There's a nice good balance because I've gone in the daytime and I've gotten a rare item, maybe 3 times tops. But if you go at night, and depending on the enemies that you fight, you can get some really good stuff. And when you price it correctly in the shop, because you got to sell this stuff, you can make a lot of money. And who doesn't like the dollar bills, y'all? I'm not going to do a full review on this right now in this video. I'm going to do a full review at a later date. But so far, I like the game. It's about 20 bucks or 30 bucks on the eShop. You should pick it up if you like these kind of dungeon explorer roguelite action RPG games, and I think you'll be pretty happy with the perk. Graphically, you know, it has a little, you know, it's a pixelated kind of style, really colorful. Even at night, it still looks good, and the dungeons are colorful. Everything pops. The controls are super easy to master, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you like this first impressions video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click the bell so that way you can see when I put up more content, especially for the full review of this game at a later date. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.